And Tanya Love's really getting started good this morning, giving us some exciting things to think about. And it's just marvelous. It's just lifted me up, and I'm just going to really enjoy listening to her program. And I've got my coffee all here ready to go, and I'm going to run that down into my cup, and it's just going to be marvelous. This Presto Maggio is just so marvelous to use. It's just a nice little thing. It doesn't weigh hardly a pound, and you can just put it in your desk drawer, and it just fits right in your desk drawer. It's just real small. See, you can see this is just real small and lightweight, and you just stick it right in your desk drawer, and you've got it right there handy, and all you have to do is just keep your a little thermos or a little thing like this of coffee, of hot water with you, and that's it. You know, and then you could just keep a few of these little K-cups in your desk. Little K-cup brew cups. They just a little bitty. They just put a couple of those like that, and keep those in your desk drawer with you, where they're handy and it stays fresh until you get ready to use it. And then you can just pull out this little Presto Maggio, and presto, push down. There you go. You got your cup of coffee, all fresh. Okay, I'm so excited about all of this, but Tanya Love, I'm gonna get her going and excite myself a little more.
Yeah. Oh, there I go. Something happened. That's okay. You guys could still hear me. So basically, back to what I was talking about, we as humans have a lot to heal. And for me personally, I would love if any of you watching would like to send love and light my way, and my son's way, and my ex-husband's way, because this is really a healing that's needing to happen at a soul level for all these individuals that have been affected. And this is just my family, but when I look at it, it's something I've lived with most of my life, and I've observed it on this planet for so long. And I know that it's not necessary any longer. I know that its time has come to be cleared. However, I can do all my healing, I can do all my work, and I can live a pretty peaceful life until I get that call and my kids, sobbing, and there's police officers wanting to talk to me, and I need to go get him. And of course, then I go. And so this past week has been that kind of a week for me. It's been a week staying in my center and addressing things that I never thought I would even have to deal with, but being there and dealing with it. And what I've observed is, like, there's been amazing, beautiful miracles of people helping. And then there's also been this counterproductive energy of, just our societal, like, even the justice system amazes me. Of how it really doesn't feel, and I trust my feelings, and it doesn't feel like it's truly set up to protect the ones that have been harmed. It feels more like it's set up to make sure the one that's done wrong doesn't get in too much trouble, so that the courts don't have more paperwork and have more stuff that they have to deal with. And this is something we've got to look at, all of this stuff. Like, I have met women who come to my yoga classes who've been through domestic violence, and their children have been molested. And I have a mother who comes to my group who struggles every week to just protect her daughters, because she has to go through this system that, until there's enough proof, they will not make sure that those children aren't around that man who has such a record and so much history. Yet they say until there's enough proof, they can't do anything. For example, with my son, they were like, well, unless he actually passed out from being strangled, there's really nothing we can do. Because then, it's not a felony. And then in court, they would drop everything. And so then your ex-husband would be free and clear. And just hearing those words was amazing to me. I was just like, wow. So you really are waiting until that child is pretty much dying before you do anything, or before you take this seriously. And that's what I feel like I need to speak about today. And maybe I'm going to have some people that don't want to hear any of my shows anymore. So be it. Because I am not here to just speak about the pretty stuff. I'm here to speak about what's going on. And I'm here to address what's going on that's painful, and the stuff that we really, as a society and a culture, need to wake up and listen, and we need to do everything we can, each of us, to shift this. And so every day we can look into our own life and notice, am I living in alignment today? Am I living with love guiding my choices today? Am I speaking and putting into action the same energy? If I'm speaking one thing and I'm living in a totally different way, then I'm out of alignment, and that's creating suffering. And I see it all the time. And sometimes I just get frustrated, and I'll go into meditation and just be like, angels, what are we doing? Like, how can we help this? And they'll just be like, right before the show, I saw 333, and I just started laughing, because it's all about, not losing your faith in humanity, and trusting that the angels and ascended masters are with us and that they're assisting us. And I do trust that. I totally have faith, and I believe wholeheartedly that things are shifting. And sometimes those shifts are slow. I watched civil rights. That civil rights movement took many lifetimes, and some of the humans that were working towards that freedom and justice never saw it come to fruition in their lifetime. And so maybe today that's a part of what I'm here to mirror to each of you that are struggling in any way, is to not forget, don't lose sight of the big picture. We need to remember that every act we do, every moment, every time we step into alignment, we live our life with integrity and power, it does make a difference. And sometimes we can forget that when we feel overwhelmed. And there's times like when I'm feeling frustrated, I go into meditation for a reason, because I'm too in this physical world. I'm too much a part of the insanity sometimes. Being in courtrooms and being, with police officers is not my typical experience. And so it was meant to happen, and Spirit wanted me to see something. And that's why I was summoned into this experience. However, I know that it's important that I stay connected to Spirit, to Source, more strong than ever when these things are happening, because all of this external is an illusion, and the internal is infinite, and it's peaceful, and it's centered, and we can gain clarity. We can find our connection. And so I'm hoping that all of you listening will, just catch that little nugget that I'm offering you. And it will really encourage you to go into meditation more often. It'll encourage you to go into nature and be quiet. That's what Spirit was telling me today, is the humans need to be quiet. They need to quiet their minds. They're so in a chatter. Their minds have so much chatter. They're so busy. They're spinning their wheels. They're trying to do all this stuff. And the stuff is always coming from a place where they want to get something done in a internal space of alignment as well. So I'm hoping that you're hearing that, and you're understanding the power of stillness, the power of meditation, the power of quieting your mind and going inward. Let's see, did that stuff glitch again?
Yep.
Okay.
And keep going.
So So is there anybody writing in with any questions or comments, Amnon? They're like, Tanya, why are you crying? I'm just kidding.
No, not yet.
Okay. I do encourage any of you watching today, if you are struggling in some way, or if you've been challenged in some way, I will call it, not struggling. I don't even look at what I'm going through as a struggle. I think that sometimes life can bring us challenges and tests and trials that we're meant to get through, that will strengthen us in some way, and that will bring greater awareness to us. But if any of you are going through things and you're relating to what I'm saying, or you feel sometimes just overwhelmed and you would like to share, please type in some questions or comments or call in, because we'd love to answer those. And we'd love to hear from you. There is great power in speaking your truth. And so I really offer you this platform today. If there's something you want to get off your chest, if there's some secret, some family darkness, something you've been going through a long time and you want to share it and you want to talk about it, claim that space and be courageous today. On to that note of bringing things out of the shadow, Spirit's been talking to me about how important that is, that we as humans, we really need to address these shadowy energies that we suppress. We like to tuck everything down and kind of push it down and not deal with it. And I've watched firsthand what that does. I've observed my ex-husband, who, you know, is a master outside in the world of showing this charming external appearance, and like he's got it all together and he's very controlling about everything. But on the internal part, when I see him behind the scenes, well, when I used to be married to him and I'd watch him behind the scenes, he would lash out and he would just be in so much fear and so much anger and so much control. And it was really frightening. It was like living with two different people. And I used to say he was like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And this was just our normal. This is what our family just experiences normal. You know, Dad comes home, we all jump up, we all feel tense and run around on eggshells and try not to make him upset. And it's really out of alignment. And I, for one, am not willing to live my life in this way any longer. And it took me, you know, like I said, what I had to go through to get to that point where I realized this was not healthy. But some of you are living this way. Some of you maybe are creating this experience for others. And it's because you're afraid. It's because you have feelings of fear and concern. You're overwhelmed. You're overcommitted. You're overstressed. And it's okay to acknowledge that. It's okay, and it's important to acknowledge that. Because if you don't address these things that are going on internally, and you just think you have the right to spill it out towards the ones you love because they've got to put up with it, you really are harming your own family, the ones that love you the most. You're harming them in a really deep way. And ultimately, you're creating a sense of isolation to where, you know, one day they may not even be there for you because they can't stay in that energy. So it's important that we each address that and that we start standing up for what's right. I think, you know, many of you watching, maybe you're a mother or you're a father that you are dealing with this. You have a spouse that treats you this way, or you see your spouse treat your children in ways that is not of honor and it's out of alignment. Maybe you're a teacher and you know things that are going on with your students, but you don't say anything about it because you just think it's not your business, and, you know, it's just, that's a lot of stuff and you don't really know what to do. It's really important that we start saying something. It's really important that we start shining the light on these situations so that they can be healed. If we continue to suppress them, Spirit shares with me that that is what causes the ultimate suffering on our planet. That is where all the violence comes from. It's where all of the abuse, the molestation, all of these energies are coming from the shadow. I know people personally who have told me when they were very much in a controlled life, they were overwhelmed, they were overcommitted, they were giving everywhere, they were doing everything they thought they should be doing on the outside, going to church, volunteering, doing all the stuff they thought made them look good and would make them a good person. But then when they be at home behind the scenes, they're into pornography, they're getting drunk just to go home and deal with their family, they're, you know, feeling afraid to deal with anything in their life, so they just want to go and check out and be busy. And I know people that I love and care for greatly who had to go through a lot of tests to stop that behavior and to clear all of that behavior so that they could come into alignment, so they could live with freedom, they could live with honor, they could love someone with great respect and reverence. And there was no need for the external appearances anymore. There was no need to go and perform and overcommit and over-volunteer because they felt connected to Source again. And so I know that this is tapping into somebody out there listening, and that somebody is going to be relating to this. And if you are, realize that whether you are the one that's been putting out that lower vibrational energy, whether you're the one that has the secrets, you're hiding behind the shadows and you're doing the behaviors that you know are out of alignment, you know it because it feels off, or whether you're the one that's having things done to you or living with someone who's living in ways that are out of alignment and you know that they're up to stuff and they're living secret lives, it's important that we each start to be honest. We need to stop the bullshit. Like in our families, there's so many families that seriously, I observe that they only function because of the BS. They all get together, they eat a lot of food, and they talk a lot of superficial talk, and no one talks about anything that matters. No, and it's just so, it's interesting to observe, but I know that if we stop doing that and we started being honest and stop worrying about what we look like and we stop worrying about if people approve of us, because chances are the people that you're around, if you are honest, they're going through stuff of their own. And if they truly are people who love and support you,